everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Oh, I'm so excited for today's video, guys. It's a birthday book haul. I've not done like a big bookshop where I've just been to a bookstore in person and just bought loads of books in one go in so long, because I am technically on a book buying ban because I'm trying to get through my physical TBR, but it's not my fault that I got vouchers for my birthday. So some of these are ones that people bought me for my birthday, and then the other ones I went out yesterday with the vouchers that I got for my birthday and chose the books that I wanted. So it's a mixture of like ones that I've chosen and ones that other people bought for me for my birthday, but they were all either gifts or using birthday vouchers, so it's a birthday book haul. Anyway, no one cares. Let's just get straight on into the haul. So the first book I got is the second book in a series, and have I read the first book in the series? No. I well and truly am back on my idiocy with book buying. Haven't even read the first one, but I know I love this author. It's Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I've read the Chestnut Springs series, and I've read the first book in her first series. Is it called the Off to the Races series? That's what the first book's called anyway. I've read the first book in that series, loved the Chestnut Springs series, and I just feel like I'm gonna love this series as well, because it's still like the same kind of cowboyish. It's not like, I don't think this series is quite as like cowboy as Chestnut Springs, but it's like it's interconnected. Some of the characters from this series we've seen before in Chestnut Springs. It's still in like that world, you know? So I feel like I am gonna love this series. I also love the spines. Like apparently it's gonna make like a mountain range when they're all together. Obsessed. So I just thought, while they've got this in the works for £6, I might as well just get it, and while I've got a voucher as well. The next three books are books that I've actually already read, but I read them on my Kindle, on Kindle Unlimited, so I didn't have physical copies, and I love this series. It is a 4-book series at the moment, but they only had 3, so I just got 3, and it is the Mile High. Well, no, it's not. It's called the Windy City series, isn't it? My favourite one is actually Play Along, which they didn't have yet. I'll either end up buying that from Waterstones, or I might just wait till they get it in the works, because these are only £5 each, which for like quite a big chunky book that's like, you know, a KU book, when they get physically published they can be quite expensive sometimes. So for a £5 I thought these were a steal, and I'm obsessed with the spines, the covers, they are just so beautiful. So we've got Mile High, we've got The Right Move, which, look at the cover of that, stunning, and we've got Caught Up, and as I said, as soon as they have Play Along and the future ones in the series when they come out, I will be getting those as well to add to my collection. So I'm finally so excited to finally own physical copies of those ones. The next ones I haven't read. There are a couple more in here that I have and I wanted physical copies of, but most of these now I haven't read before. So I've got 3 books now from the same author. They're all by Hannah Bonham Young. The first one is Out on a Limb. I think this is one of her more popular ones, but it was on 3 for £6, so I was like, well, there's no point getting 1, I might as well get 3. So I got Out on a Limb, and then I was looking at the selection that they had, and there were quite a few good books, to be fair, on the 3 for £6, but I thought, let's keep it simple and keep with the same author. So I also got Next of Kin and Next to You. I don't know if these are a series because the spines look similar. I don't know if this is connected to these. I haven't looked into it at all. I'll look into it before I read them, but they all have like the same kind of symbols, the same font. I don't know if it's just that Hannah Bonham Young likes all her books to match, or if these are like interconnected and I need to read them in a certain order. I'm not sure. I will look into it, but I've heard really amazing things about Out on a Limb. I've never read anything from Hannah Bonham Young before, so I am very excited to read something from this author. Next 3 are the last of the books that I have read before and I just wanted physical copies of. So we've got Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is the second book in the, I don't actually know what the series is called. The first one's Done and Dusted. Cute little cowboy romance series. If you've read Chestnut Springs and you feel like you just want that feeling back, but you don't know what else to read and you've already read Elsie Silver's other books, these aren't as good as Chestnut Springs. I don't think they're as developed. They are quite a lot shorter, but they are like the same vibes and just fun, easy reads. I'm sure they're on Kindle Unlimited as well. I'm sure that's where I read them before I got the physical copies. But I just love the spines of these. I don't know what it is about them. I love how Done and Dusted looks on my shelf. And this was literally £3.50, so I was like, why not get it? and I do love the front cover as well, but particularly I love the spine. And this was a good book. I can't remember what I gave it, like 3.5, 4 stars. Again, not groundbreaking, but just like fun, and I really did enjoy it. Travis by Mia Sheridan. This is connected to Archer's Voice. It is about his evil cousin Travis. I was very nervous going into this one, but it works. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like, I didn't end up hating Travis by the end of this book as much as I did going into it. And this was in the sale for £2, so I thought, again, I've read it, I liked it, I love Archer's Voice, so I might as well have a physical copy for the sake of £2. I don't buy physical copies of books that I didn't like, by the way. And I don't even buy physical copies of all the books that I do like. But when they have them in the works, I tend to buy them because I love displaying the books that I love. And literally for £2, I was like, even if it's not my favourite book of all time, I liked it enough to own a physical copy of it for the sake of £2. Kind of similar vein with the next one, Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. This was £3. The cover of this is insane. It's literally gorgeous. I love the covers of this series, like these new covers. So I am going to get them as they come out in the works. I've only read this first one for now. I haven't carried on with the series yet. I didn't love this book, I can't lie. I didn't love it. But because it's part of Elsie Silver's like wider universe, and because I love Chestnut Springs so much, I did want to own a physical copy, and because it's so beautiful. I didn't hate this by any means. If I hated it, I wouldn't buy a physical copy of it. I don't keep copies of books that I don't enjoy because I want to look at my shelves and feel that joy. I don't want to look at my bookshelves and see books that I didn't like and feel negatively towards my books, you know what I mean? So I definitely didn't hate this one. It's just not my favourite of Elsie Silver's books. But I liked it enough, again, to own a physical copy, and I think it will be nice to own all of Elsie Silver's books together, because even though she has different series, they are all interconnected to each other. So I am definitely going to carry on with this series as well. I've got the books on my Kindle ready to go. I just haven't carried on with them yet, but literally look how gorgeous that is. I'm obsessed with the covers. The rest of these are books that I haven't read before. So the first one is Taming Seven by Chloe Walsh. I still haven't read this. Not because I don't want to, but because I don't want to be left with no books in this series to read, because oh god, I'm obsessed with this series. I love it so much. So that's why I'm putting off reading it, because I don't know. You know when you just love a series or you love an author and you don't like the idea of not having any books left from them to read again for the first time? And I know the next one won't come out for quite a while, so I'm not in a rush to read this. Like, I am, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, they didn't have this one in the works. I got this one for my birthday. I think my mum got it from like Amazon or Waterstones or something. They've only got the first 4 in the works, but the first 4 are in the works for only £5 each. So if you need physical copies of the rest of the series, go to the works. But I asked for this for my birthday because I really did want a physical copy. I also have the audiobook, so I definitely have no excuse not to read it. But I want to like live in the excitement of having this a little bit longer, if that makes sense. I don't know if I sound like crazy, but I just like being excited about the books that I own and that I haven't read yet. Anyway, the next one I also got for my birthday, What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walther, or Walter. I don't know how to say her surname. I feel like everyone says it differently. I read Summer of Broken Rules whilst I was on holiday and I loved it. I loved the game aspect, like the assassin game that they were playing in that book. And I know that this book follows, like, it's not a game of assassin, but it's like pranks and games and things like that. And I loved it so much in the first book. I don't think it's like a series, I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think it is. But I loved it so much in that book, the first book I read from the author, that I'm just desperate to read more by her. So I'll probably read this quite soon. I feel like this is quite good fall, autumn kind of vibe. So I'm very excited about that. The next one, oh, I'm so excited. I love Icebreaker with all of my heart. That is like a 6-star read for me. I love it so much. I also really enjoyed Wildfire. I gave that like 4.5, 4.75. So I'm so excited to read this. She's wearing a Taylor Swift cardigan. It's Hannah Grace, it's hockey, and it's Taylor Swift. It just feels like a recipe for a book that I'm going to love. But I'm also trying not to place too high expectations of it because I don't want to go into it expecting it to be a 5-star and then it not being. I'm trying to temper my expectations a little bit. but I am so excited to read this, and again, that's one that I will read very soon. The next one is The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armas. I liked The Spanish Love Deception quite a lot. I didn't like The American Roommate Experiment really at all. And then I loved The Long Game. And this is linked to The Long Game. I think it's, I can't remember how the characters are linked, but it's a character that we see in The Long Game, or hear of in The Long Game, that is one of the main characters in this book. Is it like the brother or the cousin or something of one of the main characters in the first book? I can't remember. But Elena Armas is hit or miss, but I've liked more of her books than I haven't liked. And because this is linked to The Long Game, I feel like there's a chance of me enjoying it. The thing I loved the most about The Long Game was like the setting, like the fall vibes, the cabin. And on here it says, travelling to Green Oak to escape. So I feel like it's about someone escaping like out of the city, the same kind of vibe as The Long Game in terms of like the setting maybe. I don't know if it ends up being set at whatever Green Oak is, but that sounds like a cute place to me. So I am very excited, and again, this is one that's kind of more up there on my priority list that I'll probably read quite soon. And then the last book that I got for my birthday was Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. I specifically wanted to get this soon because I wanted the hardback to match my hardback of Legends and Lattes. I read Legends and Lattes earlier this year, and it was my first kind of cozy fantasy that I've ever read, and I loved it so much, so I really wanted to get this one. The cover is also just absolutely stunning. I love these books. I think they are so gorgeous. I love the cast of characters in this book. I love that it's so cozy but not boring, like there's still things going on. It's just nice to have the knowledge that like everything's going to be okay, because it's a little cozy fantasy, you know what I mean? I also do love like a high stakes fantasy, but I think sometimes it's nice to have a cozy little read where you know that like everything's going to be fine. I think this one's slightly less cozy than Legends and Lattes. I think this one is, because it's the prequel, I'm sure this is more about like the war that came before that one, or like, was it a war? It might not have been a war. Just like the fighting and stuff that Viv used to do before she opened the coffee shop. This is about that. So I feel like this will be a bit more like action-y maybe, but I'm not expecting like a high stakes, action-packed kind of fantasy with this. But again, I am very excited and I'll probably read this soon. I feel like this is a perfect transition between like summer and autumn, because it's like still the slow fun vibes of like the summer romance books, but it's got the coziness of like the beginning of autumn. So again, I'll probably read this one quite soon. And they are all the books that I got for my birthday this year. I do still have some vouchers left over, but I didn't want to spend them just for the sake of it. So I'll probably do another haul like nearer to Christmas time maybe. I've got quite a lot of fantasy books at the minute that are the first in a series, so I think my plan between now and Christmas is to maybe try and start a few of those series, see which ones I want to continue, and then maybe use those vouchers to get the next books in those fantasy series. Does that make sense? Like, because I don't want to start series, but I also want to start some series that I own to see which ones I actually want to continue. That's basically the goal by the end of the year, is to A, finish some series, but also just know which series I actually want to read and get stuck into out of the ones that I own the first books for. But anyway, that's literally so relevant to this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up down below if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!